talk about this morning is, what part of the building are you watching from? What do you mean by that, Dr. Harris? Well, in a building, you have different levels. But first, before I go there, let's talk about a building or an edifice or a house or structure. The most unattractive part of any building is the foundation. However, the foundation is the most important part of any building or structure. Now, when building a foundation, you gotta carve away the land, you gotta flatten the land, you gotta compress the soil, you gotta wait a little while, compress the soil again, and then you start the frame out work for building the foundation. Now, the foundation is the most timely, the most expensive, the most boring, and the most unattractive part of any building. But then once we got that foundation in place, now we can build anything on that strong foundation. Then when you start looking at the house as it's coming together and it's completed, you look and be like, wow. Now look at the vaulted ceilings, look at the tray ceilings, look at the coffer ceilings, look at the heated floors, look at the panoramic window views from the back. See, we start looking at all of the glorious things of the house, but we don't ever pay attention or give credit to the foundation. So that's the same thing in building success. You got to position yourself where you build a strong foundation. We've done that very early in our kids' life. You guys often hear me talk about giving your kids the fair, unfair advantage. That's my most recent book, which is a bestseller, and it's titled Fair, Unfair Advantage. So you want to prepare your kids and set them up for success. So what we've done is we put Kenny and Kaden and DJ on third base. So when they came into the world, they were already on third base. So if you can imagine a game of baseball, if you have a runner on third base, no outs, no strikes, no balls, batter up. Almost anything I do at the plate, barring a strikeout, I'm going to score that run on third base. If I hit a pop fly in the center field, they're going to tag and score. If I hit a base hit, they're going to tag and score. Or they're going to run and score from third base. If I hit a soft, slow grounder between first and second, they can score from third base. Even if I strategically place a bunt down the first base line, guess what? They're going to score. But let's just suppose I did strike out. If I did strike out, guess what? We still got two more batters up. So the propensity is extremely high that they're going to score from third base. So you got to ask yourself, where are you placing your kids on the field in a game of baseball? Translate that into the game of life. Where are they at? Are they still at the plate trying to figure it out? Are they on first base? Are they on second base? If you put them on third base, how about this? How about put your kids on third base, put your nieces and nephews on second, put your parents or whatever on first base, and just hit a grand slam and get everybody into home plate. See, that's how you have to think about success and building generational wealth. Generational wealth is something that so many people are using so loosely, but they don't really understand it. To be able to create generational wealth, first we have to be able to build wealth in our current generations. Then you have to be able to have second and third generations in place or lined up so that we can then pass along the wealth to those subsequent generations. So let's go back to talking about where you are in the building. What is your vantage point? What do you see? Well, it depends on where you are in the building. If you're in the basement, you really don't see too much. You have a limited perspective in the basement and the lobby on the first floor. Okay, so in the basement, you really don't see nothing because there's no windows down there. We make our way up to the lobby. Okay, we see a nice picturesque lobby, perhaps nice chandeliers, nice foyer. We can see the street level. We can see the restaurants, the people out on the street. That's a pretty okay view. But then once we start making it up to maybe the 13th floor, 14th floor, I know most buildings don't have a 13th floor, but we make it up to the 15th, 16th, 17th floor, we got a pretty nice view. We can really start seeing some things. We may think we're on top of the world on the 17th floor. But think about it. The person up in the penthouse on the 32nd floor or the 72nd floor, guess what? They see a more concise and expansive view. So no matter where you are in the building, there's different views. So what we have to ask ourselves, are you ready to have a penthouse conversation? Now, are we in the penthouse of a building? Well, it depends on how big that building is. But even if we are in a penthouse of a 32nd floor building, well, the building next to us that's a 72th floor, we're not quite in that penthouse view. So there's different views. So you have to ask yourself, from what vantage point am I operating from? Do I only see a limited view? Do I have an expansive view? Is there even a more expansive view above that one? Which there's always a more expansive view, no matter how tall your building is. So, I like to use the parable of the giraffe and the turtle. A turtle, he only sees 3 to 4 inches high, and he can only see so far because of his vantage point. He may see a stone on the ground in front of him and think it's an insurmountable or impassable path to get over or around that stone. But to the giraffe, who is way up with an extended neck with a very expansive view, he doesn't even see the pebble. And if he does, it's like, man, that's just like literally a stumbling block. But he sees so far into the Serengeti. He can see into the valleys. He can see over the hills, over the mountains in the distance to see that there's many opportunities out there. But the turtle, he doesn't. So here's the deal. The turtle has a limited view and perspective of life, while the giraffe has an expansive view and perspective. But here's the deal. The giraffe may come down and talk to the turtle only briefly, because if a giraffe comes down and talks to that turtle for too long, he'll suffocate because his neck is extended, which gives him his airway. So if he bends over too long, he's gonna die. So that's why it's important that the giraffe stays at his level and his vantage point and views. So it'd be more appropriate, more feasible for the turtle to yell up to the giraffe, hey, how's the view looking up there? Which direction should I go? That's a part of a relationship, a mentorship relationship.
Hey, what's going on? I know you guys want to get back to this great content, but real quick, I wanted to come in and give you guys an opportunity to work with me and Tara and our family as it relates to being able to build generational wealth, be able to attain your financial goals in life that you want to, and strategize with us as proven business leaders when it comes to generational wealth development. All right, guys, back to the video.
So again, I like to use parables and analogies. So let's talk about aircraft. You guys know I'm an Air Force guy. I'm always going to talk about airplanes. The average plane flies at 33,000 feet altitude. You tend to get a little turbulence. If you ever notice, the most turbulence you get in an aircraft is takeoff, landing, and right before you get to a cruising altitude of 33,000. 33,000 of air, pretty smooth. But if you elevate up and go between 42 and 47K, that's smooth sailing. So if you ever been on a plane and you were delayed in takeoff, but you still find yourself getting to your destination even earlier than the anticipated time, it's because they went up to 42,000 feet and they hit a slipstream and smooth sailing. So again, that's where you need to be in life. But here again, a pilot who's never gone above 33,000 feet can only see so far. He's only had such a view. But the pilot who's gone up higher, 42, 47,000 feet, he has a different perspective. He also has different operational techniques to know how to navigate at a higher view. Okay, so that's the same thing as it relates to coaching and consulting. If you haven't been to 42,000 feet, get with somebody who's been at 42,000 feet. Listen, the difference between a mentor and a coach. A mentor, and you need both. A mentor is a person who has done something and can show you how to do it. Okay? A coach is someone who has extreme knowledge on something but may not have done it. Let me give you an example. Belichick has won a gazillion championships and Super Bowls as a coach, but he hasn't won not one single championship as a player. But people will argue he's the best coach of all time in the sport of football, but he's never won a personal championship ring. But you need both, because a quarterback in the game has a certain vantage point again as it relates to being in a building. What part of the building, what part of the field is he in? He sees this view, but the coach on the sideline sees something totally different. So that's why quarterbacks have the autonomy to call an audible on the field, because something can be different from the playbook versus what he sees versus what the coach sees. The coach may see something on the sideline, but he doesn't see what the quarterback in the actual game is seeing. So that's why the synergy between the quarterback, the coaches, and the playbook, they kind of all got to line up together. But if you're out here working on attaining a goal or dream or vision and you don't have leadership to help you get there, it's gonna be a long journey. So that's why it's important to coach and consult. Listen, you guys are watching in real time the successes that we are demonstrating of what we're doing with Kennedy and Caden specifically. We don't even pull back the curtain and show you what we're doing in our businesses. We just pretty much put the kids on the forefront to allow people to see in real time what we're doing. And it's not a fluke. You know, it's not a one-time hit. Kennedy started her company first, was very successful. Caden started his company, became successful. And they both have this amazing synergy amongst the both of them, that they're having amazing growth in their companies. And we are showing you guys in real time. We actually go live while it's happening so that you can see what we're doing.
If you want to put your kids in a position to have a fair, unfair advantage, grab this book immediately at my website, SeanJHarris.com.
So we have not so secrets that we share with you guys every single day. We're dropping gems. We're hoping you're picking them up. And we highly encourage you to ask questions. If you guys are wondering, how do they get up and speak in front of crowds of hundreds of thousands of people without any fear, without any hesitation? Well, it's because we created their soft skills at an early age. They took Toastmasters at 7 years old. They've been in the Generational Wealth Academy since birth. So we've instilled the principles that they need to be able to engage in intelligent conversations with their own peers as well as adults. Because many times growing up, we would always hear people say that kids are to be seen and not heard. Well, I think that's the biggest detriment that you can do to a child, because what you're doing is you're eliminating the possibility for them to develop soft skills at an early age, and then they'll become adults and never develop those soft skills at all. So we've always treated our kids as adults, as the way we speak to them. We didn't do the babble talk or talking to them like they're infants and babies and can't comprehend. Just talk to them like you talk to an adult, and then they will speak like adults. So you treat kids like adults, you'll get adult-like behavior. When you treat kids like kids, you'll get kid-like behavior. But the way we have taught our kids, we've taught our kids to be able to maintain and conduct themselves in an adult manner while still maintaining the kid. It's a very simple process, but it takes work. So again, listen, if you guys want to link up with us and see the journey that we're going on, you may have a simple question. You may say, Sean, listen, I really don't want coaching. I really don't want mentorship, but I do have a question about this. I do have a question about parenting. I do have a question about marriage or relationships between me and my children. So whatever it is, you may just say, listen, I got a 401k. I want to know what to do with this money. I'm thinking about retiring. I'm thinking about shifting career paths. Hey, listen, Dr. Harris, Tara, what are some options where we can send our kids to college without having student loan debt attached to it? Hey, how can we leverage life insurance policies that can make our children millionaires by the time they turn 19? Listen, if you don't know the answers to that, you need to be linking up to those who do know the answers. That makes sense. There's so many different things. Hey, Dr. Harris, what should I do about shifting all my assets into a trust? If you don't know the answers, you need to ask.